Hello, hello. Welcome to Wormhole Wednesday. This is Evie. I got a Jeet here. Jeet, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. How about yourself?
Good. We got a couple of interesting things to talk about, a handful of BRs to show, and we've got a very special interview that we had. Um, I guess starting with the first BR here, if you've got it pulled up,
Yep.
is a very interesting rattlesnake catch that Captain Blarget got. Um, I'm real jealous. Captain Blarg if, probably remembers me when we were in Wingspan together. That rattlesnakes were essentially like the Moby Dick that I was always chasing. They were, they used to be common. They're not so common anymore. So congrats to him for actually getting one. It makes me want to get one real bad, and I know it's not going to happen anytime soon. So congrats, Captain.
Yeah, that is wild. Over 6 bill total value, or almost 6 bill total value. 2.5 dropped. Uh, Luke God said yes on that one. Pretty nice.
They were they were so fun to fight too. They're a real challenge for like, just a solo or two hunters just trying to get one. Um, until like as a Loki pilot you learn that like you can just web the gecko and it will never catch you, which just guarantees loot when you finally kill one. It was really great to fight them. And congrats to him.
Yeah, that's a big catch. C3 space is alive and well. No, potentially, anyways. 6 bill though, pretty nice catch. 55 points. Always looks great on the Z kill.
Yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of good catch, the next one we got is crazy.
yeah, first jump freighter in I think we just looked at about 2 years to have died in J space. Seven
Yeah.
total have died in the last 10 years. So great catch. How they managed to get a paladin on it in time, who knows? But that's definitely what sealed its fate. Got a nice little drop off of it if they managed to get it. Be surprised if they just blew the can though. Uh,
That not only was it like 2 years prior to this for the last jump freighter loss in wormholes, the last rail loss was 2017. So this one's kind of special because they just don't die that frequently.
yeah, I think we noticed some other funny things about the webbing alt too. What was it? Caldari Navy web, so not get quite getting the best web effect there. Combined with
The Manticore had the rigs that drop the sensor recalibration time from cloaking, even though it's a stealth bomber.
yeah.
So
Oh,
it's not doing anything.
next time, next time. That was a pretty cool one. Once in a blue moon kind of catch there. Intel or whatever they stumbled upon to be ready to set up for that. Bravo. Well done.
Yeah, two unicorns back to back. Kind of
Yep.
crazy.
Well, got another pretty interesting unicorn here too. Extra large ship maintenance array that Forsaken Few ended up finding in high class. Uh,
Yep.
Either they refed the POS or found a POS without enough fuel, and uh, she was quite full. I believe we saw, yeah, Thanatos and two Phoenixes, one of which did drop. Little Golem action too. Uh, Full fits as well. So we definitely see that they got their money out of their time for that one. That paid off pretty well. What was it? Just shy of, yeah, just shy of 10 bill.
Yeah.
Pretty nice. Always would have loved to have seen more of the caps drop, I'm sure, but take what you can get.
Yeah, I mean, for just showing up on a couple of bombers and just being like, all right, let's go shoot it.
Yeah,
That's pretty
literally just
great.
a couple. Yep, yep, yeah. Those guys splitting a nice paycheck or SRP fund go burr, one of the two, and they got to get the Phoenix out since it was in high class. It's
Oh,
pretty
that's great. They didn't have
nice.
to self-destruct it.
Yeah, no insurance games with that one. Get all the money from it. That's pretty dope. If it
Yeah.
sounds like we're kind of speeding through these as well, it's because we are excited to get to a little interview for you guys. So sorry
Yeah.
if we're
And it
going
is.
a little fast, but we got a long one for you coming up that we're pretty excited to get.
Yeah.
Moving on from some of the. Oh, actually, no. We have one more funny, unfortunate circumstance here. Actually, um, two ship maintenance arrays that got killed. Both had nags in them. I'm only gonna pull up the one, but take my word for it. Both of them had nags. Neither one dropped. That's a real you hate to see it kind of moment. Could have
Yeah,
could have came out pretty large.
we go
Instead,
back to back from we go from one ship maintenance array being full and dropping 10 bill to two dropping literally nothing.
literally nothing. Yeah, it was just two nags in them, so they were fit and everything. Nothing dropped since the nags didn't drop. And sometimes you win some, sometimes you just get fucked. But
Yeah.
looks like it was frat, so don't hate to see it too much. They can yeah, go back to nullsec if they'd like to make some money there. Getting
Cool.
into some action over the last 2 weeks here. We've got quite a bit happening in C6 space lately. This is not the one that I was looking for. This was not C6 space, but nonetheless, still a great dunk. LDev having 20 bill killed on a couple of HK crabs.
Yep.
Bad, not bad. Full fleet. Doing some lucky rolling. Get the full catch. Love to see that. D20 bill. And then moving on from there, there was quite a few caps that had died in Region F this week. Or 2 weeks, excuse me. Moving on from there, we've got some previously talked about folks. Exit strategy coming up. Killing a Zern in C6 base, along with a nice Paladin to go along with it.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot from just coming back. They've already got, you're going to see the next one here. It's another catch in C6 base
Yeah, we can just
of,
jump right into that.
yeah, just another capital.
A couple of capitals on that one.
Yeah.
Uh, Not super familiar with Pacifica UA, but another 40 bill kill mail. Looks like the MTU might have a fair amount of that, which they got most of it out. It's actually a pretty light looking fleet for killing three caps. So well done.
Especially with one of them being a nag fleet.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I wonder if he was it maybe his was Capgun. Yep. That doesn't quite help. He did have his grappler on though, but okay. Hold on, now I'm curious, sorry. Oh,
Um,
rapid torps on the PNIs, so could have been real spooky. Does look like they took out the Nag fleet first, uh, after losing quite a handful. So like it was something that they had to build the fleet up for to get everything down before they got to soak up the 40 bill kill mail. So that's pretty cool that they ended up pulling that off.
What's interesting is it looks like I'm actually going to swap to the timeline. Yeah, they started in shield and then swapped over to armor midway. So good job on their Dictor pilots holding all that down while they swapped.
Yep. Oh, what did? Yeah, it looks like they started in Ham Lokis with some Logi.
You know,
Had to swap around to the Absos.
even the Balgorn shield fit. So good job on their Dictor pilots holding that grid down while they reshipped everything.
Yep.
Because yeah, they'd have to literally just pull the entire fleet at once, kind of thing.
Well done, well done. Yeah, we don't have it included here, but we were one of the cap kills this last couple of days. Fortunately, we're not under face of eviction after killing HK Nag. The MTU was not under HK's name, so we were all clear there. But that was
Absolutely.
a fun time.
That was a big panic time.
Big panic time. Couple of Dictor deaths. Ended up pulling it off on the fort grid somehow. But
Just rambling to get more curses.
yeah. GG to Mr. Nag pilot there in HK. I'm sure we will be on the receiving end at some point.
Absolutely.
Moving on from there, I think some of the other bigger ones. This one's a duplicate. Sorry about that. Yep. We've got Mr. Bob's Volt in a company. Little input broadcast friends there too. Uh, Taking on some subcaps in C6 base. Quite a few of them. To the tune of over 30 bill. So,
Yeah, Bob's Mills is just putting in work with how much he's destroying in C6 base.
it has tallied up over the years, that's for sure. And there's some new names going on too, it looks like, as well. So they've got a little movement going. Curious to see how that continues to play out. Going on from there, I think we've got another one here. A couple of nag fleets that they killed. And quite the large fleet. Running predominantly Ickies and bombers. Bob
And then
with
they got
friends.
they got exit strategy in that one as well.
Yeah. Yep. Exit strat with a handful of bombers for the most part coming to hang out. Yeah, gonna have to farm a little bit more to make those ones back, Novak, unfortunately. But C6
It's interesting
money
that
just continues to add up. So
it's
but
interesting that Ren's not on there.
I don't
That was
know if I've seen Rens on one of these in a little bit, at least over a month.
yeah, it's just for those of you who don't know, exit strategy and Ren back when he was in with wholesale, like they were a match made in heaven. Those two worked very well together. So it's cool to see exit strategy coming back into wormhole space, already getting kills in C6 space, already reunited with Ren and doing work again.
Lots of work. Biggest one so far, tune of 67 billion almost. Uh, Plus or minus maybe some things that didn't quite show up. The lift. I don't know if I understand the lift. Because didn't
Yeah, they
they change the Avenger spawn stuff so you don't have to have the different type of capital? I haven't
I
done a
don't
whole
know.
lot of cap writing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. But I do know the reason it took so much damage is they just couldn't break it. So that's when they called in exit strategy and consultancy to just bring in focus void bombers to just
Ah,
cap it out because
okay.
they couldn't do it.
I assume he was, yes, the final boss. As his name entails, is a boss. So that makes sense. Oh, did that? Wait, and then moving on from there. Yeah, I mean, looking at just some of the overall totals that we had in J Space over the last 2 weeks since we last talked to you guys, it looks like we are up to 70 cap kills. That's including things like freighters. Uh, since the 1st of May, which we didn't go over this previously. The 2 weeks before that, though, was only 52. So exit strategy adding to that list quite nicely. Quite a few on some BRs like this. Number just going up and up with some of the new additions that we've had back to JSpace Inner Hell as well. I think that I
Yeah,
saw them on a handful.
NRL got a cap kill too very early on when they were coming back too in
Yep.
C4 space.
So yeah, 52 2 weeks ago, 70 these last 2 weeks, and then total ISK killed is also up as well from 44 point, or excuse me, 4.45 trillion the 17th of April to the 30th of April to 4.87 trillion, so up almost 400 bill over the same 2 week span. So numbers are going up. That's cool to see. Having more people in the ecosystem certainly helps. So those numbers keep going up on Corpse. That's what we want to continue.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on to there, from there, we've got a couple of actual BRs. Well, brawls, anyways. Um, First one's gonna be HK versus damn near all of Lupus. both corps, or yeah, the two main corps, which is a little bit one-sided, I'd say.
So many pilots.
So many pilots. Having putting 80 pilots through a hole is well done to their leadership team and recruitment team. You guys are really putting in work to get everybody there and have everybody show up. So that's cool to see. Uh, Spooky as well. Very spooky. Uh, Killing almost
Yeah,
30 bill off of HK.
it's cool to see Moyne using the Thunder Child in some of these BRs.
Yep.
I don't know how he hasn't lost it yet, but it's still there.
Yeah, that is a great question. It is interesting that we don't see more just like one-off Thunderchilds and Stormbringers just doing that, you know, chip damage across the whole fleet throughout some of these battles. Seems like would kind of go to the same tune as a firewall, I guess, except the firewall's not limited on how many people it can hit the same way as Stormbringer or Thunderchild is, but the firewall also can't pull range, so some trade-offs.
But yeah, it's still an insane amount of pilots.
Yeah, 80 is again quite the number, about double of what HK had on grid. A lot of it seems to be they had a EOS ball. It looks like. Not sure how much of this is all one pilot. I see a lot of duplicating names. Um, yeah, I think that was really the potentially the big multi-boxer that they had, but otherwise, a lot of guys on fucking grid. Congratulations. Then from there, yeah, we've got MSF and HK.
Pretty even fight.
Much more even fight in terms of numbers. Looks like HK might have even had the edge, but it does look like it took place in Glory or MSF's home. So had a little bit of a cap advantage on that one. I am not sure if they all joined off of the bat or if maybe they were ratting and got jumped a little bit there.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was they were ratting
Okay.
and then they rolled in and went for it.
Ah, that would make sense. That would make sense. Yeah, it looks like some of the nags really ate. Can't really check if well, I guess doesn't show. Only seeing cap guns, so not sure if maybe they just got some good Vindies on grid to slow them down, or if all of the grapples just started applying from the nag fleets. But it's like some of those cap guns really did start applying. That old fucking doer for sure.
Yeah, I think it was all just the grapples because MSF doesn't have a Vindy on the BR.
I don't see one. Yeah, no, and they more than likely, well, they don't have a Balgorn. Webs on the Balgorn
Yeah,
either. Yeah.
even still to be down 4 caps, for them to even kill 21 Bill is impressive.
Some of these nags getting on 27, 26, 25 of the kill mails too is yeah, they were there the whole time just pewing. No way they were like applying to the oh, or maybe they were applying to the sabers. Well done. Uh Had to have been coordinating grapples. A good job. Yeah.
That's impressive that he actually hit the sabers.
Yeah, no shit. uh got
Because
him.
at first I was gonna be like, maybe it's got to be smart bomb damage, right? He's probably spooling the guns, but like the smart bombs and the red giant probably just actually killed them,
Got a different one here. Looks yeah,
right?
maybe. Totally. Uh, I don't know.
Hold on, there's pod death. No, it still shows the guns on the pod, but there's no way the guns actually hit the pod. It has to be smart bomb damage.
Oh, okay. So it looks like Scrample ended up being Hoffit.
Okay.
Well, that makes sense why he was big damage number then. He was just flying. Yeah. Nonetheless, good attempt at trying to get some content for HK and better defense, it looks like. So well done, guys.
Yeah.
Moving on from there. Uh, this was an interesting one. Evie, do you want to talk about the Novak one since you kind of got a little more of the backstory on that?
Sure. So Verlate were in a fight against this group here. And we're actually in the middle of retreating when Novak rolled in and then reached out to be like, "Hey, you want to team up?" Um, so Verlate said, "Yeah, sure thing." And I it doesn't show on the BR, but I'm pretty sure Verlate left its fax there, and obviously the fax didn't die. And use that to help rep Novak. But Verlate was extracting a lot of its ships when Novak did roll in, and just from then on, it was just Novak Verlate take on. So it's kind of cool because you don't get that with a lot of case-based fights where you just see people make that connection and then just immediately form up to take a fight. It's kind of unique to wormholes. And we've done it in smaller scales where like our static in one of our holes will ask, "Hey, you want to team up and go fight the people in a different static?" Just to so we can kind of have even numbers. Um, I feel like it's a very uniquely wormhole thing to do to just get things going to take content.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, more than just content. Damn near just shy of 100 bill, pushing on 90. So that is a BR that I'm sure that these guys will remember for quite a while from both Novak and Relate.
Yeah, for sure.
Building relationships too. Cool to see. Moving on from there, another Novak fight. Novak versus Big Scary Lupus yet again. Uh, two dreads just dominating yet again against the lift. The efficiency is crazy. Not to mention, looks like Wolves even had, or Lupus had even a few more pilots too.
Right? Yeah, Lupus had more pilots and it wasn't enough. And I know I've said this before, but we've noticed when we were in Turbo that bringing a fax when you can just bring more dreads is somewhat a mistake. Um, Obviously there's more people with more experience, so there might be some nuance that I'm missing. But we were realizing and coming to terms with just bring more dreads and just DPS race it essentially. Just use Nestries and dreads.
Yeah, it seems like unless you're just spending crazy money on the facts, it's a tough decision to make to continue to bring a fax that's relatively just standard fit.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even when you trying to like go up against two anti-cap PNIs, that's gonna be really difficult to do.
He did not tank very long. Only took 860,000 damage. Absolutely obliterated right off the start. Actually, the first one to go down. So, yeah, that may just be a dread in the future for Lupus, possibly. When you're putting 74 pilots full, though, not really getting a whole lot of leftover mass to work with.
Yeah.
Curious to see how
Yeah,
they
I
end
mean
up adapting to that one.
the fax died in the first 10 minutes of the fight.
Uh, I'm. I think this is like a little pre-action. If I had to guess, can't imagine that's the first bit of the fight, but maybe it is. Yeah. Either way, the fax was the first thing on their side to go down.
No, no, the Pilgrim died to a bunch of absos.
Did he?
So I don't think it was yeah, I don't think it was
Uh-huh.
pre-action. I think it was
Sure.
actually just fax died in 10 minutes.
Yep. Well, then everything just kind of continued to go down after that. Eh, they have Nest. They did have a couple of Nest. Not a full Nestor squad like you see out of Nova. Trading off on the mass. Interesting. Cool. And then
Yeah.
there we have got Inner Hell versus Input Broadcast. One of the smaller engagements, still a little structure kill, but we saw some comments from Uramel about that being. Well, let me just read this. I think Uramel was excited to go up against Inner Hell. He said it was one of the best fights he had had in the game so far, giving them praise, and then true that Inner Hell are some of the real legends in Wormhole. He was a little upset because he said he thought he was recording his main monitor, but in reality was recording a scout account on accident. So that was unfortunate because he really wanted to post that up. He did give big praise to the Logi pilots from Inner Hell and called them almost bot like on how quickly they were getting to rep some of the Lokis that were he was specifically targeting. For the most part, I think the actual fight was pretty even. I think Uramel lost slightly more from the fight, not counting the Fortizar. But nonetheless, I mean, when you start losing all of your Pontifexes, which is how he gets around grid with his EOS ball, you're pretty kneecapped at that point. Continue to snowball on you. So cool to see that he enjoyed the fight so much. I think a lot of people may be feeling Inner Hell's wrath sooner rather than later with their Loki blob.
Actually, Artie Lokis have got to be a pretty unique solution to dealing with EOS blobs because it's not like DPS check a Pontifex, which is going to be hard to apply to. It's simply just delete the Pontifex,
Yeah,
so it doesn't have to worry about getting repped.
yeah. Give everybody the countdown. Everybody pushes the button at the same time. It just ceases to exist, right?
Yeah,
The more Lokis you
that is
have, the bigger ships you can do it with.
that is a unique way to solve that problem.
Yep, yep. And again, just completely destroys what he's able to do on grid in terms of movement and things like that. So is well done to Inner Hell and Adriel Lameth and boys over there. I think we have one more. Yeah, Inner Hell BR here. Just a small eviction, nothing super crazy, but it was almost 20 bills, so a lot of it was but yeah, a little pre-fight beforehand. Um Picking up some kills and then getting to shoot the Astra. Some light content for them.
I imagine it's just taking a quick farm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's C4.
Uh
Maybe maybe they're taking it as a farm.
Quick farm, quick payday. The two. And
A lot of
from
people have been starting. I was gonna say a lot of people have been starting to take up C4 farms,
yeah, I
which is
mean money is pretty pretty good. I mean pretty comparable. Nearly no not nearly so many people are actively like rage rolling for C4s as well, so it's not the worst decision in the world for sure.
I think it was more importantly that this one has a C6 static.
Okay. I did not look super into that, but that would make sense.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of action with C4s with C6 statics, a lot of turnover right now, which would make sense. A lot of groups are coming back to the game, so it would make sense that the C4s with C6 statics you're seeing a lot of action.
Right. Yeah, C6s have been pretty popular as we kind of already saw earlier. And from there, we've got just two more before we get into our special interview for today. Uh quick little for a lot, not even blobbening. I'm pretty sure they were outnumbered, just going toe to toe with Vita and coming out on top. I think they had one extra Marauder, but
Yeah, they had one extra Marauder, but Vita had a curse, which should just turn off a Marauder.
yeah, and if this is anything like what we've been seeing out of Vita, it was well. I wouldn't be surprised if Relate does it too, but Vita likes to put like a little something out to get a feeler, and then kind of jumps on whatever happens to tickle their toes. So I wouldn't be surprised if Relate had to respond for that, and then kind of just grew from there.
Yeah, I was gonna say the car should turn it off, but then he actually didn't have any tracking disruption. So I don't believe you would be able to turn things off. Because even if he puts optimal range on, right, and just forces a single Marauder to be shooting out of optimal, like the Chronos taking it out of the deadly Void Blaster range, it, it makes a huge difference in Marauder versus Marauder. When I know we've taken some Marauder fights and against other Marauders, we can put on tracking disruption on the hostile Marauder to cut its optimal range down so that we just get to do more damage. I, it's really just a good idea to always do it, even if, like, because extra Marauders are going to come into a bubble, surely. So you have range to play with. They're not all going to land at 0.
Right? Yeah, I was wondering how early the Lachesis died from Relate, but it looks like they got a couple of Marauders down before it ended up getting popped. So that may have helped, and he was, if I had to guess, probably on the curse kill too. Yeah, there was. So maybe the curse was. Oh, well, you said he didn't even have, yeah, no tracking disruptors or anything, anyways, but he did. He probably would have been in trouble of being able to use them anyways against the lack.
Yeah.
And I think our. Sorry, do you have one more thing for this one?
No, just agreeing with you that the latch does make it difficult.
Yeah, because he would have had to pull in, and then there's three other marauders, and a tough spot. From there, we've got one more for late BR versus Laserhawks. Uh, Pretty even fight. Uh, Definitely outshipped. A lot more battleships on the Verlate side versus Laserhawks battle cruiser and cruiser setup.
If you go to the timeline, you can see that Varlate lost a mobile tractor unit first, which tells me that it looks like Laserhawks rolled in on someone running sites and just went for it. Um, Pretty impressive that Varlate has all this just on at the ready. So that's cool to see.
Yeah,
It's not often that someone can respond so quickly.
was sorry, I was just looking for the nightmare here. Late spoiler, my bad. Um, this yeah, that again.
Are you trying to see if it's a smart bomb fit?
Yeah, that was just what I was curious about. It's not a whole super a lot of damage, so wasn't sure if it would just be smart bomb or an armor nightmare. That was the most interesting thing that I saw out of that pick or the grid. The nightmare coming to the defense and ending up on post kill mails too. So see, cool to see.
Yeah, I've got a lot of nightmare shooting nightmares.
Yeah, yeah, well defended. Yeah, Verlate had a couple other BRs that we just fortunately didn't really have the time to get to with what we've also got planned for this evening. So they've been very busy as of late.
Yeah, even last week it was a lot of Verlate BRs.
It is, yeah. They definitely seem to be one of the most active high class groups from what we see in terms of big BRs, anyways. I don't know if you'd agree with that or
Oh yeah, they're definitely up there for one of the most actives.
sure. Well, cool. I think that kind of covers everything that we have. We do have our special upcoming interview here. Do you kind of want to introduce it a little bit, Evie?
Sure. So Ajit and I had the luxury of interviewing Max from Inner Hell and just Inner Hell returning to Wormholes. and we had a couple of questions that I think are really good. And it was just an absolute pleasure to talk to them. For me personally, when I was a new bro, I always looked up to Interhell because little old me would be like, I can grow up and be like them one day. Um, they were just amazing back when they were around the first time. I mean, I would remember them coming up in the Loki fleet, and we didn't kill anything, and one day we did, and we are all super excited because we killed a single broadsword. I mean, it just, and I was in a New Bro Corp at the time, so like to give you some context, we were using like Vexers and Brutixes as a doctrine without Logi. Um, so killing that broadsword was really something special for a whole bunch of New Bros, killing one of the greats. So, really, really cool to talk to them. It's an absolute pleasure that they took time out to talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely. They were they because for those who don't know, and for further clarification, Adra Maleth or Adra or Max, as you'll hear us refer to him in the interview, uh, does predominantly speak Russian. He can speak a little bit of English, but we also had Gerald Cato from Inner Hell doing some translating for us, and so that's predominantly who you'll be listening to is going to be Gerald. For the Russian community, though, or anybody who does speak Russian, you can certainly follow along with Max as he gives his answers in Russian, and then Gerald will afterwards be translating them into English for us. Um, so yeah, I mean, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get that playing here, and hope you guys enjoy it. Alrighty, we are all set up. We are here with Adra Maleth and Gerald Cato from Inner Hell. We've got some questions for Adra about current state of the game and their return to J Space. First question is going to be with Inner Hell coming back to J Space, was there, well, Eve in general, was there any particular changes that you guys are specifically looking forward to or brought you back, or just excited to play the game again?
Макс, вопрос такой, спрашивают, почему Иннерхейлы вернулись сейчас? Что-то новое в игре заинтересовало нас или просто вот поняли, что время пришло? Что-то у тебя, может, случилось?
Всем привет, hello everyone. Изменения касаются по большей части лично меня, то есть на самом деле Ева заняла большую часть моей сознательной жизни. Я начал играть с 2008 по 2020 год. Ну и, собственно, просто так их бросить все это тяжело. Последние 5 лет я иногда заходил в игру, чтобы посмотреть, что изменилось, но воскрешать корпорацию, активно играть я не планировал. А, Первым фактором для возвращения это появление свободного времени в реальной жизни, которое там могу выделять пару часов в день для Евы. Вторым, ну и на самом деле большим фактором возвращения, это, собственно, коллектив, который у нас сложился за последние несколько лет. Моя корпорация, это мои настоящие боевые товарищи. Все это время мы поддерживали связь в реальной жизни. Полетать в Еву интересно всему нашему коллективу, вернуться, пострелять и так далее.
So mostly the changes that made us come back is mostly about Adremelech himself. He got more time in real life. He has like few hours more than for to play. He was actually for the past 5 years he was logging in and logging out just to see what new changes, new ships, like check the mechanics, the new ones, like Cenotaph and other stuff. But mostly, like the two, if there is a need to point out the two main factors why he came back, is like as I said before, more time to spare on the game, and the second and probably the most for him is like the people that he's playing with. He said that he over this time that we were together, he thinks that we are his friends and we all are very appreciating this fact.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it's like a camaraderie thing for him more than anything and having the time available.
Yes, it's more people than the game.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. That's pretty cool. Well, we're excited to see you guys back. Have you guys had a favorite moment since being back to the game just yet? It's only been a few months, but curious to see if you guys have had something that really stood out to you.
За последние пару месяцев, что мы вернулись, активно играем в игре, есть какие-то интересные моменты, которые ты хотел бы отметить? Может, что-то запомнилось? Какой-то
Ну,
буй?
на самом деле, таких моментов пока не было. Мы просто стараемся летать и убивать все, на что хватает сил.
Um, for now, there's no such a thing as like there's no and there's and no many fights that are like exciting or stuff like that. We're growing. We're still small. We try to catch something and kill it if it's possible, or just have some fun.
I was gonna ask, what do you guys think of the current state of wormholes?
Твои мысли по поводу состояния ВХ и ВХ-коллективов на данный момент?
Все осталось на том же уровне, что и было 5 лет назад. ВХ заправляют все те же группы, например, Hard Knocks, Lazy Hawks и коллективы, положительно к ним относящиеся. Конечно, появились новые коллективы, но их влияние незначительное. Появилось много таких соло-игроков, которые играют в 15-20 окон. Я говорю про EOS-паки и мародер-паки. Вот. Но что могу сказать? Коллективов стало больше, а реальных игроков меньше. То есть, в принципе, это не только тенденция в ВХ, но и в других секторах игры. Все, можешь переводить.
Well, in his opinion, that everything is given or taken, it's the same as 5 years ago. Uh, in Wormhole space, it's still the same Kings. It's HK and Laserhawks and their blue allies, Blue Knot. There are few new groups, but they are not significantly like they doesn't do any changes for the game. It's mostly like these three big groups that I named before. There are a lot of new solo players like EOS packs and Martyr packs, but it shows just that the game is still dying, decaying, and if previously we could see that the online was 3,000 people, then and we thought that it's probably like 15,000 real life people. Like now it's mostly like 5,000 people just with multiple accounts.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty fair assumption.
Yeah, I know for like US time zone, it is getting a bit better. We used to see, and it might not be true for like the amount of real players, but we used to see the game would dip during like late night US time zone all the way down to like 10,000, 12,000, and now it's been around 20,000. So for US time zone, it's been nice to see the bump. Um, but again, it is still a lot of multi-boxing. I don't think you're wrong in that observation.
It's like more accounts, less real players, and it's kind of sad.
Yep,
And
I would
it's
agree.
not just in wormholes; it's in all Eve, like high sec, low sec, null sec, you name it.
The more Ishtars you can put out, the more money you make.
And let's not talk about Pochvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not. Cool. What do you guys? I guess moving into similar like kind of question. What does Adra think about the state of the game currently and where the direction that it's been going recently with some of the announcements versus what it kind of used to be?
Макс, спрашивают по поводу твоих мыслей, по поводу игры, направления, куда движется игра, по поводу последних объявлений на фанфесте, которые делались, вот новый дредноут, вот это все вот.
Понял. Ну, ответ будет большой. В общем, CSV последние 10-15 лет реально активно убивает свой проект, свою игру. По факту ее держат только игроки. Все началось, когда CCP Фози, скажем так, начал вносить свои идиотские идеи, что начало убивать всю жизнь ВХ. Если бы вы знали, как активна была жизнь в ВХ, да и в Еве, в принципе, 15 лет назад, вы бы с ума сошли. Это не мое субъективное мнение, а факт. То есть, например, во всех системах CS6, в каждой второй системе, жили коллективы от 200 до 500 человек. Каждая C5 система там имела жизнь. А, с переделом варпхолов, который было там, по-моему, около 12 лет назад, когда изменили методику фарма, ввели фрегатные дырки, сделали большой разброс капиталов от вармхола при закрытии. Ну и в итоге после изменения Т3 кораблей все это привело к тому, что Wormhole Space практически вымер. То, что мы видим сейчас, это несколько больших коллективов и куча их фармгрядок. Количество боев ВХ единицы, и все они в основном договорные, потому что как бы люди не пытаются даже что-то там рейдж-ролить, искать, хантить, просто скучно. Куда CCP двигает Еву, ну, не знаю. Она просто пытается поддерживать какую-то активность, грубо говоря, оставаться на плаву. CCP не может привлекать в игру активно новых пилотов, потому что Ева весьма специализированная игра. Но при этом продолжает убивать все, что заставляет игроков в нее играть, например. Ну, к примеру, почему там Underhill, то есть наша корпорация распалась 5 лет назад. Я и мой коллектив убивать большие кораблики. 10 лет назад их много было в РХ, в Wormhole. Но после изменения методики в фармах в ВХ просто не стало капиталов. Остались единицы, которые влияют на общую массу. Не влияют. Ну, они все, кто фармит, перешли на батлшипы. Мы стали активно хлопать в нули в таком случае и убивать кары, рорки. Ну, а если улыбнется удача, то там титаны, мазера. Собственно, я лично там переловил больше 1000 суперов. Как бы, понятное дело, не всех возможно было убить. Вот. Но самое главное, что эти корабли, они были в космосе. То есть они были там на подскане, их можно было поймать. Они были, потому что людям хотелось на них летать. Они были экономически выгодны для фарма, как те же дредноуты и кары больше 10 лет назад в рамхолах. Но после многократных изменений адекватных нерфов роры, каров, суперов, их файтеров, эти корабли стали бесполезными, ненужными. Они стали невыгодными для фарма и как для игроков в принципе. А после CCP решила еще убить все тем, что изменила экономику стройки. В итоге сейчас там супера — это экспонат на полке, кар не используются для фарма. Ввели, конечно, ерунду там для фарма маячков на дредноутах конкордовские. Но опять-таки сначала полностью убили космос, в нем нету ни одного капитала, а теперь как бы дали какую-то подачку, чтобы там хотя бы дредноуты стояли, что-то делали. Вот. Ну и в итоге после вот этих изменений 5 лет назад у нас просто не осталось как бы развлечений, я распустил корпорацию. Это, конечно, было тяжелое решение, но проводить кучу времени в игре для убийства иштаров в нулях или там одного-двух мародеров в ВХ, ну, на тот момент не стоило, неинтересно было терять это время. Можешь переводить.
So, it's gonna be a long one, so get ready.
Yep.
First of all, for the past 10-15 years, CCP was actively trying to kill their own project, basically. It all started with CCP Fozzy. He made a lot of, in some opinion, many stupid ideas, stupid changes to wormhole space. Because, well, mm, like 15 years ago, the C6, C5 space was very active. There in C6, most of the C6 was inhabited by the groups of hundreds of players. All C5s were like also like alive. There was no like such thing that you roll the hole and there's no one for an hour. You roll the hole and there's no one you found. It was basically high class wormholes were very active, and there was a lot of PvP and always also PvE. But all the PvE was also like very close to PvP. With the changes came, the new freeholds, the changes for capitals where they appear after they going through the wormholes, after they changed the way you farm the anomalies in the green sites in wormhole space, and also after changes of the T3s like Loki's, Proteus, Tengus, and Legions. Um, it all like this is just a few of what Adramech is pointed out, but there's a lot of other changes, small changes that you don't see at the first glance, but in whole, this is what killed Wormhole space in like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. Now, like, if you compare it to what was 10 or 15 years ago, all the C6 is under one or two big groups. Uh, then mostly it's farms, not like PvP active groups. It's just farms where one or two capital or maybe even no capitals are alive. And the amount of fights in Wormhole, in high-class Wormholes, is significantly less than even 10 years ago. About where, about his thoughts about what's CCP doing to Eve. Well, Max said that CCP is not like developing Eve, not like evolving it. They are just trying to maintain it at some kind of activity. They have no they have nothing to offer to new players. Like there's a lot of some cool mechanics, but some of them are not developed, and some of them are very hard to understand because Eve is a very specific game. It's a very niche game, and not everyone will understand and will like the game itself. And the moment where you start to like understand what's going on around you, and you see the end game of Eve is it there is a very long period of time. Like one of the main changes that, in Max's opinion, killed the Eve for him and for Inner Hell, for example, like 5 years ago, the main goal of Inner Hell was to kill big ships, capitals, titans if we're lucky, but 10 years ago, like every high class system had like a lot of capitals there, active players who weren't afraid to drop them and fight with them. Right now, it's only like few groups. And because of it, because of the changes, people decided to change the way they farm, to change the ships they use in wormhole space, and mostly it became like um, cruisers, battleships, maybe a few dreads. Like there's no big capital fights right now, apart from when someone evicting someone, and this is also cancer right now. After like they changed the way the capitals behave in wormholes, Innerhell started to roll nullsec to kill carriers, rorquals, and if we're lucky, as I said before, super carriers and titans. But even that was changed by like the next few patches. They changed the way you build ships. They will change you get materials to build the ships. They made it harder. They made it more expensive, and there were less and less players who use capitals. And the end game of Eve for most of the people is to fight with big ships against big ships. So if there is no like big ships, who would want to play the game? And yes, like the change of economic, the building stuff, the industry stuff. Uh, Overall, this is what killed Eve, and overall, I don't think Andromeda appreciates what CCP do to the game.
Yeah, I know. To kind of piggyback on that, I know when all of the capital changes happened the first time, one of the largest complaints is what they did to faxes and not being able to fit most of like more than one cap booster. and a lot of people from that era say that it really killed faxes, and we haven't really seen such a huge return. And then I know just with some of the capital fights that we've done currently, well, back when we were in Turbo, we kind of realized that just you don't even use effects, you just go more Zerns because the damage is so high on them that you just can't keep up.
I'll translate. Макс, что ты думаешь по поводу того изменения, когда у факсов отобрали возможность фитить больше одного кап-бустера?
Да что сказать, тут на самом деле лучше начать с того, зачем вообще ввели факсы. То есть, кто не знает, раньше модуль Триага ставился на кар. И не было капитальных кабустеров и каких-то других капитальных модулей. Весь расчет фита корабля исходил из собственного капорегена. И благодаря этому как раз-таки можно было, скажем так, исходить из определенных механик и убивать все эти кары, супера и так далее. Вот. Когда ввели, конечно, новые модули капитальные, они очень сильно ребаланснули игру, очень сильно изменили механику, и потом пришлось в итоге нерфить. Изменения, которые они ввели для капитального кабустера, ну, это сродни, соответственно, топанью жопы, когда у тебя понос. Вот. Поэтому для меня это на самом деле ничего не изменило особо, потому что если вы не сможете танковать хорошо одним факсом, например, в нулях, вы будете кидать 2, 3, 10 факсов, которые сейчас используют. Вот и все. Вот, поэтому как таковое изменение, оно не сильно повлияло, но зато на самом деле, может даже положительно повлияло на факсы. Теперь стали фитить, например, как по старинке фитили карри в полный капороген. Ну, чуть-чуть больше интереса дало. Ну,
Mhm.
как-то так.
So, Max first said that to understand why this change was made, we need to go back in time and realize that first there was no foxes in game. There was only carriers that could feed the triage model. Triage, did I say it right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that's
Triage.
it.
And they were like sort of capital logis. And also there was no such a thing as capital cap booster. You were like when you were fitting ships, you were going from the thing that you have your own capacitor and you have your cap regen, and you play from that point. You fit from that point, and your behavior in fight is also determined by the how much kappa you have and how much you regen and what you can do with it. After they announced the faxes and announced the modules that are capital cap boosters, it significantly changed the game everywhere, and not in a good way. Like you can throw a lot of ships and they will do a lot of stuff, but like if you can't kill a ship with one fax with one ship that is capital logi, doesn't matter if it's fax or carrier. You just bring another one and overall. So in Mac's opinion, the change to the cup boosters that they made for faxes, in particular, like they said that can only fit one module now, is a good thing. But the changes and the introduction of the ship is like there is no point for it, in his opinion.
Makes sense.
I kind of want to touch on so like Inner Hell is one of the more notable corps in wormhole space. Like everyone who is around back when you guys were playing knows who you are. Does that change how you interact with the game? Do you find that people just will, instead of fighting you, just choose to not, just because of the name itself? Like how does it affect your day to day being just one of the well known?
Мгм. Макс, спрашиваю такой вопрос. когда НРХЛы были очень, активными, они были знаменитыми, и всех знали. То есть ты смотришь на тикер, и ты понимаешь, что тебя ждет. Это как-то влияло на твое отношение к игрокам противоположной стороны? Это влияло как-то на твой геймплей-контент, который предлагал? А, Например, то есть ты открываешься к кому-то, они видят твой тикер, и вместо того, чтобы подраться с нами, они пытаются бежать. Это как-то обыгрывалось с тобой? Как-то влияло на тебя?
Ну, скажем так, это фактор, конечно, который надо иметь в виду, но на самом деле не сильно. То есть наша основа как таковая, то, что мы делаем, это в основном для меня это называется охота, хантинг. Вот. Ну, некоторые называют рыбалкой. То есть мы ищем определенные какие-то цели, находим их, ловим, убиваем. Вот. Конечно, если мы там пытаемся как-то кого-то разводить, соответственно, и не показываться, естественно, мы стараемся не показывать тикер, но в любом случае, как бы основа это не какой-то там шпионаж или еще что-то, основа это как бы схватить, удержать, убить и так далее. Вот. Так что знаменитость или нет, на самом деле абсолютно без разницы. Как бы на это мы сами внимания не обращаем, потому что также мы в округе видим других каких-нибудь знаменитых ребят и так далее.
So, the short answer is no, because the long one answer is for the most for the most part, like inner hell content is like to catch something, to find something, to log of trap something. So we don't really care if someone will want to fight us or not. We will make them fight us. And like if someone doesn't want to undock, okay, we will just roll and find another one. Um, it's like it's dictated by the gameplay, not by like who you see and when you see it. We tend to like get sneaky log of spots or somewhere like in deep spots, wait for someone, bait someone, and then just show yourself. And basically, no, it doesn't affect us very much. Yes, we were well known in wormhole space at some point of time, but so was the FK. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So was like HK Laserhawks, Mouse Trumpet Calorie, you name it. There was a lot of groups that were as famous as us, as dangerous as us, maybe less, maybe more. So no.
That's cool.
That's a good answer. Forcing the fight either way, I think, is pretty cool. Um, Doing it on your terms, I think, is probably what's had a good part of what to do with how successful Inner Hell's been and how spooky they are because of forcing types of things.
Would you have any advice that you'd like to give to other corps who want to kind of get to the level of play that you guys are on?
Вопрос такой. Если, например, есть корпорации или люди, которые хотели бы достичь того же эффекта, что и мы, то есть быть опасной по корпорации, которая приходит и берет свое, независимо ни от чего, есть ли у тебя какой-то совет для таких людей? Что бы они могли сделать, чтобы добиться того же результата, чтобы развиваться в каком-то направлении?
Ну, я думаю, что важно желание, стремление что-то в первую очередь делать, именно такое человеческое. Вот. Но Ева диктует свои условия. В ней надо очень хорошо думать, соображать и знать очень-очень-очень много механик, каких-то факторов игры и так далее. Ну и когда вы сможете соединить свое стремление что-то сделать и, соответственно, обходя либо очень хорошо используя механики данной игры, вы сможете достичь всего, что вы захотите. Так
So,
что, да, переводи.
продолжай.
Я не все, в принципе, сказал.
So the main thing is, if you want to do something, just do it. First, you will lose your ships, like you will fail, but the more you do it, the more experience you get, the more understanding what you should do in particular situations, and like if you want something, just do it. Like, but if as I said before, is a very complicated game. Just you wanting something to do will not change anything. You need to constantly evolve. You need to constantly think about, like, maybe make a video for yourself and then rewatch it and see where you could have played better and see some things that you didn't saw in the heat of the battle. Most of, like, Eve is also very. It's a game about players. If you communicate with players, if you talk with people, you will learn a lot of stuff. You will know some info that you won't get anywhere from, like, from in-game mechanics. Some mechanics you will understand only if someone will tell you about it. So talk to people, learn new mechanics, learn how to fight. Don't be scared to lose ships at first. And basically that's all. Like your own brain and your will to get better is what will make you eventually succeed.
There's a couple of people we've mentored in the past, and it seems like one of the bigger stepping stones that most people struggle to cross is the idea that you're going to lose ISK, and that the like there's an opportunity cost that if you don't risk it, you're losing, and you're actually losing more by just not taking the fight in the first place. And it's a difficult one for a lot of people to kind of wrap their head around. And for the most part, the same is true for corporations. So yeah, I'd agree with everything that your answers are.
Yeah, I think being able to evolve and adapt and review whether it was a good outcome or a bad outcome is a good way to become stronger, and definitely agree with that as well.
Yes, if is all about, like, learning about experience. The more you see new things, the more you understand them, the more you learn, then the better you will be.
Right.
And with like experience, confidence also comes. If you're confident in yourself that you will, like, you see the ship, you know how to deal with it. You see the fleet, you know how to deal with it. If you're confident, your people around you will feel also confident, and they will go after you with you, and they will fight for you. This is what you need, like, to get your corporation bigger and as well known as Innerhell.
Well, switching topics a little bit, is there I know we've talked about the game in the past. Moving forward with some of the announcements that just came out over the last week or two from FanFest, is there anything that Adra's looking forward to seeing?
Yep. После анонса новостей на фанфесте, новых кораблей, есть ли что-то, что вот тебе вот приглянулось, что тебе, чего ты ждешь?
Да, я уже 15 лет жду английский дредноут. Вот, конечно, оно сейчас не сильно актуально, но так, расскажу историю краткую. То есть мы начинали с логов трапов ВХ, вот, тогда, когда в моем коллективе Quantum Explosion было там от 3 до 5 человек активных. Вот. Ну, собственно, для английского дредноута или вообще для дредноута, скорее всего, покажется ненужная характеристика, как скорость варпа, но для нас она была очень важна. Вот. Поэтому эта мечта еще проявилась до того, как вообще появились фракционные дредноуты или вообще какие-то изменения касаемо дредноутов. Сейчас, конечно, такого применения дредноутом ВХ практически нет, но посмотреть, покрутить в руках это очень охота. Вот. Но по всем остальным обновлениям, я думаю, это все несущественно. Вот. Главное, что как бы CP до сих пор не делает, о чем я ранее говорил. Они не пытаются сделать экономически выгодным там фарм на тех же капиталах и так далее для той части космоса, где они могут использоваться. Поэтому остальные изменения для меня лично несущественны.
So first of all, yes, he's very excited for the Angel Dreadnought. I don't remember its name, but yes, he was waiting for this type of dreadnought for 15 years. 15. Um, so the reason is that Inner Hell, back when it was not Inner Hell but Quantum Explosion, the original group that of 3-5 people, and they were famous for log of traps. They started with log of traps in Warhol space, catching capitals off guard when they were not prepared, like you log off a dread or capital somewhere in space, and then log in when the target is not ready. And for this particular content, the change that makes the dreadnought warp faster is very crucial. Like the because the time someone see on this scan and starts warping off and you land to grid is the what determines will you catch it and kill it or not, or he will get away. So yes, the this one is very interesting for us, and we will use it in wormholes. So you'll see us. About the other changes, they are not. There's no like changes that apart from this dreadnought that are interesting for us. Max said that the only thing that is worse for CCP to do is they are not changing the farm, the the liability of the farm in wormholes on capital ships. They're just cutting off the liability of farming in sub-capital ships, but don't change. They don't make changes to make people to use more capitals. They just make people use capitals because they will not be able to farm as much as they were farming before on sub-capital ships.
Right. Yeah, it's so, somebody who was using subcapitals and started to make the transition into capitals. It's I guess it's a harder pill to swallow. Putting the capital on grid and you're locked there for 5 minutes in the dreadnought running C5 sites just to make the same money that we were making a year ago is it's a tough one to swallow for a lot of folks, and I think that's partially contributed to what I think some of the high class folks have seen in lack of rolling content lately as well too. Just not finding marauders. You're looking specifically for the dreads for the most part.
Yeah, you've kind of incentivized one level of play, but for everyone else, you no longer have the incentive to do it.
Yeah, because there was a lot of complaints about wormhole people make so much risk with no risk basically in their opinion. But like CCP didn't make farming in capital more profitable than farming in sub-capital in the way it could make it better. They just made so if you want to farm the same amount, you use capitals. If not, then you can use sub-capitals or whatever you want. And the risk is still there. It's the same. So what's the point of it?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
on that kind of topic, is there any particular changes that Adrian would like to see to JSpace? If he could whisper something in CCP's ear and see it through?
Мгм. Если бы у тебя была такая возможность, что бы ты изменил или добавил в ВХ?
Слушайте, ну, у меня, скажем так, идей и планов очень много. Это кардинально бы поменяло не только ВХ, но и все. Вот. Но если, как бы, соответственно, по ВХ, то я, наверное, в первую очередь вернул бы экономическую выгоду для фарма на дредноутах. Вот. Ну и, соответственно, сделал бы так, чтобы необходимо было иметь при фарме те же самые кары, лансеры, возможно, либо факсы. Вот. Для этого нужно вернуть респаун НПС, то есть дополнительных, соответственно, батлов в грид, либо увеличить их, соответственно, стоимость там и так далее. Вот. Ну, об этом можно много там разговаривать, как бы конкретики не будем. Вот. А самая, наверное, желаемая идея, которая привлечет очень многих людей в ВХ, вот, это сделать второй статик в системе C6 с капитальными нулями, то есть с капитальным выходом в нульсеке, либо лоусеке, то есть в разных дырках там по-разному, то есть рандомно, с массой прохода до 5 миллионов килограмм, ну, с массой закрытия. И точно так же из этих дырок, то есть сделать обычный статик, который ведет в C5, C6, который сейчас есть на те же самые 5 миллионов килограмм. Ну, это бы привлекло большие и средние ПВП коллективы в червоточины капитального класса. Они бы, во-первых, могли очень часто друг с другом драться, сталкиваться каждый день, потому что шестерок для хлопа, например, не так много. Вот. И в случае, соответственно, какой-то заварушки в нулях могли бы иметь возможность выкидывать более чем 3 капитала, соответственно, в нули и что-то свое показывать. Вот. То есть, не знаю, по-моему, было бы всем хорошо и приятно от этого. И нулевикам подраться классно, и ВХшникам показать, что они могут. Пока что это все ограничено, и, как бы, извините, вормхольщики могут вылезти в нули, например, только на сабкапе, а нулевики, соответственно, их тут же раскидывают. Вот. Ну а так, в целом, наверное, я бы сказал, что нужна полная переделка механики цитадели. То, что до сих пор в том виде, в котором есть, CCP сделала так, что это вообще уже неполноценная глупость. Вот. Оно не продумало всю механику цитадели изначально, то есть многократно их переделывали. Ну и в итоге сейчас даже там Кипстар является самой бесполезной цитаделью, например, там, стоимостью 300 миллиардов ИС, которая толком ничего сделать с флотом нападающим не может. То есть даже вон в Рамхоле до сих пор самая используемая штука это, наверное, ПОС, если ты хочешь как-то себя защитить. Ну, в принципе, все.
Но это все относительно именно Wormhole Space.
Да, ну, Цитадель, опять-таки, более глобально. Warhol, Space, ну, основу я сказал, а так, кучу мелких
Мгм.
каких-то штрихов можно даже не говорить.
Okay. So there's a lot of things that he would like to change in the Wormhole Space, and which would like make them more approachable for more people. And like for example, he would first of all he would change the profit of the farming in capital ships and wormholes. Not just like you make more ISK, but you like make it more interesting, make it more. So so like you need to use more ships, like not just three dreadnoughts, three Naglfars, for example, yeah, but like you need to use a Naglfar, a Lancer dreadnought, and a carrier. Like it make it more variable, so people would use more capitals and different capitals to farm. Second one is probably add the second static to the C6 wormholes, a capital one, to the nullsec and lowsec or lowsec, which will allow wormhole players to like drop capitals in lowsec and nullsec. Because right now it's just you go out in nullsec, you roll nullsec, you go out to kill something, and you use only subcapital ships, and where when nullsec will just drop on you, nullsec blocks will drop on you like several capitals and lots of stuff, and you can't do anything without it if you're not like prepared for it. And what he also said is to change the mechanics of the structures, not just mostly for wormholes, but maybe for everyone else, every other sector of the space. Because when they announced the structures, they after the announcement and after they amplified the structures into the game, they did a lot of changes with the timers, with how you approach how you bash the structure, how you use it, and till this moment, they are pretty much useless for for most of the people. Uh, like the only reason why people do not like kill them day by day and every day is because you need to wait. You need to spend 3, 4, maybe more days to to kill it, and it's not worth it for most of the parts. Yes, for big groups, it's like you need to have a structure to store your capitals, store your ships, and do some stuff like industry. You can do it under the pause. they are still working. Like you can't do like reactions on the repos, but you can still build on the repos. You can still live on the repos, and they're cheaper. They're much easier to use, and they can do damage. Like for example, the Keepstar that costs like 300 billion ISK, if I'm not mistaken. It's useless in wormhole space. You can't use the what's it called, the main gun of the Keepstar. What's it called, the Zap thing?
The Doomsday.
Yeah, you can't use it in wormhole space. So apart from you having a Keepstar and showing that you have big balls, it's useless. You can achieve the same thing with putting the Fortizar.
Yeah, the grid of the Keepstar is so big as well that it's so difficult to defend.
Yeah, this is also yeah.
I think.
So probably yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
So probably yes, this is the three main things that he like would like to change firstly, but there's a lot of more that he can think about, like, and later he will add it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Um,
the dual static to the C6 is something that I've said, and I think a lot of people have said before me would be really cool to see. I would almost be slightly worried about it being a null sec or a low sec all the time, just because then they become really hard to evict. But I think it would be very interesting nonetheless, especially being able to put multiple capitals out on grid to contest with null sec groups or low sec groups, like he was saying, would be a huge benefit for super spooky and powerful groups that would be living in C6 if they decided to do so.
Well,
I
yeah,
should
all
give-
like I need to point out that all the changes that he said are just to make people use capitals
Right.
more often. Like it doesn't matter where the static will go. It's just to make people use the capitals more, so make bigger statics with much more mass than it's right now, so they can push like 5 6 capitals in one go with
Okay.
the fleet. This is like the main goal of all the changes that he wants to amplify.
Bigger ships, killing bigger stuff, bigger reward
Well,
numbers. Yep, I get it.
Yes.
Did you have a follow up question, Evie?
Not a follow-up question. I was actually kind of in agreement with the structure thing. I remember when they made the changes to medium structures to make it a single timer, they unfortunately changed the way low power mechanics worked. Uh, Used to be if an asteroid went low power, it would be one timer and it would be like the next day. Then when they made it only one timer and the 3-day wait, there was no point in an asteroid who's going low power. It just you didn't speed the process up at all. Like already the structure is clearly like useless to the person. They don't care about it. So why do I have to wait 3 days for this? Just or the 2-day period, depending on the time. Just give it to them the next day. Who cares? So that was I definitely agree with a lot of the changes to structure timers. Like that one was one that just blew my mind.
yes, and it goes to many of the CCP changes that they made, not just for structures, but for all the patches that they make. Like they introduce something new and then they revert it back, nerf it, and then nerf it again. Like for example, the nullsec changes that were previously announced, like the what's called the new way you do the sovereignty hub and like power up your upgrades in nullsec systems.
Yeah, the new
Like
SOV changes.
yeah, like they do a lot of stuff that on a paper looks interesting, fine, but when they like implement it, there's a lot of people who are not agreeing with it and they are voicing their frustration and the anger that they need to change and adapt. And for some reason, they CCP just goes along with it and say yes. Basically, we will come back to where we were and do like cosmetic changes and then amplify a new what's it called, new skin. So chill out. It's like it's dumb. If you wanna amplify something, amplify it and do it and stand by it.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's CCP's game, right? If they have a certain vision that they want to go to, then complaining that they're on the road to that vision seems a little bit strange. It was the same thing like with like CSM members, right? They have the ability to voice opinion to CCP, but you were always warned by the CSM members that if CCP has a certain vision, there's nothing they can do to stop it. The best they can do is to just provide opinion and things like pitfalls to avoid. But for like overall like solve mechanics, like overarching game changing things, it seemed weird that they nerfed the fuel requirements with the ice planets with skyhooks and then made more changes to skyhooks, and now there's only certain windows you can go and rob them. It's like if this was their vision, just do the vision. Don't kind of, I don't know, dip out of it when you just implemented it.
Yeah, a lot of changes to what it seemed like the vision would be. So having to hunt for skyhooks 15 jumps away from the wormholes. No fun. Have you guys been interacting with skyhooks much at all, or have you guys mostly just been hunting in wormholes? In Nullsack at your static?
Um, we have few people that are interesting and try and will do it, like, because you need to understand we're 2 months back,
Yeah.
so we're still trying to understand what we are, where we are, and what we are interested in it.
Hmm.
In like we're checking new stuff, and yes, we have few people who will do fleets with and will interact with skyhooks and ESS, but for now it's just like theory. We will apply it after we will be ready to do it.
Yep. Speaking of like some of your guys figuring stuff out and things like that, you guys are currently recruiting. Is that correct?
Yes, we do.
Nice. Do you have like anything in particular that you're looking in pilots for potential to join, or sort of requirements that you're looking for?
Мгм. Макс, есть ли какие-то требования к пилотам, которые хотели бы вступить к нам, либо что ты ищешь вот ты видишь нового пилота, что ты в нем ищешь, что вот должно вот у него быть, что ты скажешь, да, можешь вступить.
Ну, собственно, у нас все просто. То есть у нас принимаются люди, которые просто хотят летать с нами во флотах, ну и, соответственно, при этом будут адекватными, скажем так. То есть для нас человек, которому, в принципе, интересно летать во флоте, там, выполнять команды и в кого-то стрелять, в принципе, все, больше нам ничего и не нужно. То есть у нас нет никаких проверок там по IP, тесте на, соответственно, детекторы лжи и так далее, и так далее. Просто мы как бы не фарм-корпорация, у нас нету того, что нас могут там прошпионить или еще что-то. Да даже если так, то как бы в этом смысла практически нет. Поэтому принимаем всех, кто хочет летать и так далее. Все.
По скиллам, по какому-то
Нет,
умению,
нет,
опыту.
нет, ничего. Летать можно и на слэшере, и на нубошипе. Поэтому, не знаю, для меня главное желание, чтобы кто-то летал, что-то делал, и в принципе-то и все.
Мгм, спасибо. So basically there is no such as requirements like amount of skill points or your time spent in the game or stuff like that. Basically, if you're willing to fly and you agree with like sometimes doing stuff that your FC tells you to do, if you're willing to evolve with us, so like you can start with a slasher or a stabber or something like basic ships, and then with time you grow and grow, and you now fly Loki. If you do want to do that, then yes, sure, you can apply, and we will get you in a corp and in a fleet and in no time. One thing is that Inner Hell is not a farm corp. We are PvP oriented corp, and most of our content will be PvP. So if you're okay with that, if you're willing to give up few hours of your life to sit on a hole, roll and fight, then you're always welcome. Um, and just contact Alexei, Adramelech, or anyone from corporation. We will sort you out.
Cool. Yeah, we can definitely get like a Discord link, or if you guys have like a Eve Jobs link, and put that in the description for folks that may be interested and willing to take part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. This will
And then I
greatly
guess
help us. We also, I need to mention, we have English-speaking players. We have, so if you're not Russian, you always can join us, hear our like comms, and think for yourself if you're okay with us or not. We have, for example, we have Doris, who's I think is no, he's not Portuguese. He's not Russian. He doesn't speak with us, but he remembered few voice commands, and he successfully fly with us for past 10 years or something like that. So it doesn't matter if you're Russian or not, if you understand Russian or not. If is multi-language game, and there's like some words that you will understand without translation.
that's really cool. There was I guess now a misunderstanding. People used to say that if you wanted to join Interhell, you needed to speak Russian. So that's it's really cool that that is not true, and anyone can just join.
Well, you will need to understand Russian. You need to know Russian to understand some of our jokes and other stuff. But if you just want to fly with us, kill stuff, and like now it's like there's more people who can speak English in Inner Hell. This is maybe the main change. People grow up. There's a lot of young players who can speak English as good as me or even better than me. So there will be no problem as it was before. Because before there was a lot of grumpy old people who didn't want or didn't know how to speak English, and this was like the main problem. Now it's easier. It's like with a lot of stuff, with a lot of like Google Translate and all the stuff. There's the language barrier is easier to break.
Nice.
Part of the evolving.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is there anything that Interhell would like to say to the community, just in general?
Есть ли что-то, что бы ты хотел сказать игрокам If?
Да,
Как вот представитель Инерхеллов, как глава Инерхеллов?
да, как сказать. Меня эта игра просто привлекает. Мне нравится, как она изначально была сделана. И если вам это самим нравится, то, собственно, играйте, наслаждайтесь игрой, познавайте весь мир. Он очень большой, огромный, необъятный. То есть надо не один год, ну, может, даже десятку лет, чтобы вообще все познать, как все устроено, все механики и прочее. Вот. А так, не знаю, у меня, конечно, масса интересных там историй о том, как мы жили, развивались, там, доросли и так далее, но это уже на отдельной, скажем так, встрече и записи. Вот. А так, как бы, как говорится, fly safe, всем удачи и так далее.
So basically, this If is a game. It's a big game. It's a very interesting game, and there's a lot of stuff to do. You need to remember that it's still a game, and if you lose something or you gain something, it's still just pixels, and there is no need to be excited, like very unhappy or drop the game after you lose a ship. Just play the game, find your own stuff, find your own fun, and this will make you like happy.
I think that's a good and healthy outlook to have on Eve, especially if some people, including myself, sometimes can get a little hung up in losses. So that is some wise words from somebody who's done a lot of killing and been around for a long time. Well, hey, do you have any final questions there, Evie?
No, I think I'm all set.
Well, Adra, Gerald, we appreciate you guys taking time out of your Saturday, or, well, yeah, Saturday, to come and chat with us. And we look forward to seeing you guys in space. And yeah, have fun shooting stuff again.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
Thanks for having
a real
us.
pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You guys have a good rest of your day. All right. We are back.
Good to be back.
That was something that Evie and I had put together earlier on the weekend, obviously with Inner Hell guys being Russians, a little bit trickier to try and get them on here live at 9 p.m., which is like first thing in the morning for them, early morning for them. So hope that everybody ends up liking that. Not super in depth on any like tactics or anything, but some great stuff from somebody who's been playing the game for a long time and excited to have back in the community.
Yeah. Just hearing from Inner Hell is a privilege to kind of get an inside peek at the way they think.
Yeah,
It's very, for me, it was really cool to be a part of that.
absolutely. Two great guys too. Would be a joy to fly with them at some point in the future. So something to potentially look forward to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I think that's all we got.
That is going to be it for us tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed it and have a good rest of your day. And we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
All right. Adios.